Good morning. I'm Kent Schneider. I'm the President and CEO of AFCEA International. Over the past nearly week since the government started its partial shutdown, a number of our corporate members have asked questions about what's going on with the government shutdown and particularly what's the impact on government contractors. Last night I sent out a special newsletter to all of our industry members entitled Frequently Asked Questions, Contractor Impact of Government Shutdown. The principal focus of that particular document was how to deal with employees that are impacted by the shutdown. Today, as part of our ongoing effort to keep our members informed, I'd like to offer some thoughts on the impact of the shutdown on the contracts that you hold or that are pending. You really need to divide the contracts that you hold into two categories by fiscal year. You have contracts that were issued and funded in fiscal year 2013 that continue to be applicable and ongoing as you move into fiscal year 14. Those contracts continue to be valid. However, some of our members have expressed concern that they've been unable to execute those contracts in the past week, either because contract administrators or overseers were not available to facilitate those contracts, or that the government facilities in which they executed those contracts were shut down due to the government shutdown. That particular situation may be remedied by the action that was taken over the weekend by the Department of Defense to recall a significant number of their furloughed employees. So if you hold fiscal year 13 contracts and were unable to execute them last week, I would suggest that you contact your contract administrators to see if you can put your employees back to work this week. And it may very well be the case that you'll be able to do that. The other category, of course, are those contracts that are intended to be funded in fiscal year 14. Because we lack either an appropriation or a continuing resolution to provide funding, those contracts cannot be administered until that funding is available. The Anti-Deficiency Act, U.S. Code 1341 and 1342, prohibits contractor work being executed when funds have not been made available through either appropriations or a continuing resolution. It cannot be acceptable for the government to invite you to work with the idea of receiving compensation later. The government also cannot accept voluntary work in absence of a contract. So to the extent that you hold FY14 contracts, you will have to wait until the government shutdown is over and we have a continuing resolution before you can execute those contracts. I would advise that you contact the contracting offices that hold those contracts and arrange for them to advise you when funding becomes available for those particular contracts. We know that this period is difficult for all of you and that the situation is constantly changing. Please feel free to contact us for additional information. We will continue to provide updates as they become available to us. We know that this is difficult for both you and your employees, and that uncertainty is a real problem. The newsletter that we sent out last night addresses many of the employee issues. We would recommend, however, that you contact your own lawyers to make sure that the options that you offer to your employees are appropriate and legal within your particular environment. Again, we thank you for all you continue to do, and we hope that this government shutdown ends as quickly as possible. Thank you.